Finally, I think 8-month-old strike is over, and the schools are gradually resuming. Now, during this period of the very lengthy strike, what were students up to? I know many of them were just lazing around. Maybe a few decided to go better themselves, read some courses, some professional development programs. Some decided to japa, which of course is a trend right now. I was just reading on people's status. One thing I do at night after work, when I'm just trying to relax, I just go on Instagram to have a good laugh. I read on people's status. Then you now see that, so so I've got given birth, some are pregnant, some are like this and everything. It's what's the effect of our education on the Nigerian students? And we'll talk about many people saying they're unemployed, whereas some organizations will say they're just unemployable. Well, this and many others will be the big picture of what we're talking about on the program today. My name is Cecil Egbeli, and I'll be doing this with business development consultant, Titi Ojo. Titi Ojo, thank you very much.
Good afternoon. It's a pleasure being here today.
Yeah, nice having you. Nice yellow.
Oh, thank you.
Popping out. Lighting up the studio.
The sunshine.
I know, right? So cool. You're gonna shine on the topic we're talking about today. So very quickly, let's just go straight up in. It's about 8 months. That lecturers the government have lecturers have been doing the whole back and forth thing. And looking at the Nigerian students while they're home, what are the many things you've heard, you've seen that they've been engaged in? I've said a few. Well, let's see.
I've quite one of my mentees. He actually took up a security job. Him and his mom been like, "How with you?" And then honestly, I called him to. I was like, "When you train as a security man, if anything happens, you have a gun." Yeah, I had to be like, "Well, I don't want to that." But eventually after a few months he pulled out. He said, "Auntie, it's not easy." I said, "No, But now he's back home and he's thinking, "Okay, Auntie, I want to learn photography," and he kind of got some place where he can just go in every day and with some little fear and there. But I liked that he changed that actually. Okay. And of course there's another mentee of mine. She learns to make potato chips.
Potato chips.
Yeah. I just thought she really did that online. She was watching YouTube. I noticed she started making that. She started selling, and that was quite good. But I have someone also that went to take on a course in coding. So right now the school is over, but at least he's learned some bit of coding here and there. Perhaps he will continue that after the break. I have a couple of them really that just decided to make good use of time. Although they started late. Late will be, well, we're thinking the strike is going to be 1 or 2 and 3 then 4, and suddenly we're like, I'm going to rot here if I don't do something about my life. And yes, it's good that this guy at least went around. I need to make money for myself. I need to go to university. But there are some that didn't do anything, and some have grown really fat now. They're going back to school. their cheeks all over the place. See, even getting to put your head back in the whole system, it's a tough one. I have a friend who said that right now her mind is so not there, but because she's in the final year, I can just find a way of just get this over and done with. Even if it means paying off just to just get by. Yes, so that her mind is off the school, but because she was in first or second year, almost dropped. But because she's in final year, she just managed to get her way through. Some got discouraged, that's the truth. Yeah, maybe got discouraged. And the thing I didn't quite like also was, you have students that are in private universities, you have those in government universities, and these ones are on strike and these ones are in school. So there was just that whole thing about it. And somehow some parents also start feeling bad for putting their children in government universities. I'm like, no, you don't have to. Some actually felt bad because some kids also looking at their parents like, okay, you could have put me in private school because right now I won't be here. So there were a lot of issues around it. It was a mix of the good, the bad, and the ugly anyway. Yeah. Okay, now let's look at the lecturers now. The lecturers supposedly they are back in school, not that they want to, because they are totally forced to resume by the courts and everything. So do you foresee them putting in their A game, or just, okay, you guys say we should resume? Fine, we'll resume. All right, exams will start in 2 days' time. Man, I don't be surprised. I have a colleague of mine, she's starting exams next week and they just resumed. Sure. Even one of my friends and my mentors in University of Abuja, he was like, Auntie, now we've been bombarded, we have to do projects and all that. And I'm like, well, it is what it is. We've wasted 8 months already. So right now you're like on a fast track. And it's really going to be a tough one also for some students. I need to know, they're still trying to be confident themselves back after 8 months. And suddenly you're hit with a barrage of all sorts. Then of course for the lecturers, that passion about something you love to do that should give you the kind of reward you're looking for. But every now and then it keeps getting thrown in your face that, man, come on, go back to school. You're fighting for something you feel is right and you don't get it. You get back and really the spirit is not as up as it should be. But for those that really have the interest of their students at heart, some see teaching as beyond the profession, is a calling. Some people see it as a calling. Really. Yes. They love to teach, they love to see lives change, and for them, their job is that to them. Those would, in fact, those are the ones that will say, let's resume back. Whatever the government is saying, because it's pitying the students. It feels that these children, their future depends on what he can contribute. So there will be some lecturers like that, really. Okay. Once they jump back in, they are back to the A game. But there will be those that will be like, okay, I'm just here to all the time until I can also jump like my other colleagues.
Many of your colleagues have also.
Some of them moved.
Yeah,
so students, what about you?
Sadly. Many times over the years, when these children graduate from school and they go into the labor market, many times they just don't fit in, and or they can't find the jobs that they want. I mean, let's leave aside when going into entrepreneurial business. Right. Many of them can't find the job they want, or they are sort of not fit because many times they do just a theory in school, and they get to the real world, it's totally different. What kind of graduates would you say we seem to be churning out? Some say they're just unemployable.
There are two things here. Unemployability, yes, is real. Because I've been on tables where I had to interview people for jobs, and you ask questions, and my dear, the answers are so ridiculous. You're wondering, you spent 5 years in university, and we're asking you these kind of questions, and you don't know. So for me, there's something to call unforgivable sins. I look at the person as someone that has also developed it itself. Now let me say this. You go to a learning institution, isn't it? There's also, it means on you as well to develop yourself through the process. So I will use myself. I was in university, I studied electrical engineering.
You studied
electrical engineering. And as I 300 level,
know how to
I didn't really practice that. But I practiced IT for the first 8 years of my career. So the thing is, as I 300 level, I kind of found what I really wanted to do. I was really fascinated with ICT, really. And I just put myself into that fully. So even all my experiences, all my internships, I made sure I did in an IT firm. So that by the time I was done from school, I knew where I was going to. Most of the things I learned, I wasn't taught in the university. That's the truth. But I'd gained the skills before I left.
Okay, I want to know, when you're in a panel trying to interview someone for a job, what are some of the questions that you ask, and what are the responses you get that makes you go like, seriously? Did you actually finish 4 years in the university?
So there are key things. So for example, we are talking about maybe the application of the course he had studied. So okay, you studied electrical engineering. Now let me tell you this, on panels, questions can come from anywhere. Oh yes, questions can be thrown from anywhere. It could even be about your family. It could be about a hobby that is written in your CV. So questions could come from anywhere, really. And on the panel, you just put something you found interesting in someone's CV. So someone tells you, you graduated with maybe a 2-1, let's even just use as an example. And then you ask a question, well, that's a really good grade. So where do you find application of this in the real world? And what would you do with this particular knowledge you're bringing to this company? And the guy is just beating all around the bush. Now, beating around the bush would mean, first of all, I expect that you would have done a study of the company you're even coming to interview for. Now, I ask you a question that relates to that. You don't know anything. And I'm wondering, you just came to sit down to do an interview. Okay. First of all, that means you're not even curious. It just shows that there's some skills you even lack. You're not proactive. These are key things. And there are times you ask, the questions are much, my dear. But sometimes answers are just ridiculous. But the truth also is that some people are nervous on interview panel.
Yeah, doesn't mean that they don't know the
so sometimes And there are days like that, you tell, when you sit, you could see nervousness, so you calm some people down. You're like, okay, calm down, just calm down. I know these answers are coming from a place of fear. Calm down, calm down. And some interviewers could actually just like a simple thing, and just to make you crack on it.
Yeah.
And so, there's a lovely dress you wore today. At least you can talk about what you're wearing. Oh, I see you're wearing blue, so what do you like about color blue? I see them just opening up and say, oh, please, my favorite color. They cannot eat them again with a hard question. Like, okay, what will you bring to bear when you get this job? So in the next 3 years, where do you see yourself? That's another question. 2 questions.
Yes.
Tell us about yourself. The guy is...
Yeah, you don't tell us about yourself. That is hard. You know what? Tell us about yourself when we get back from this feature break. We are going to take a feature now. And then this feature is taking a look about the quality of education in Nigeria. Ebere went out and had a chat with a young lady who's an entrepreneur now, and she shared her experience of her back in the days while in school and her advice for many coming after her.
Today, we'll be talking about education system in Nigeria. But before we start, what is your opinion on half-baked graduates? According to a 2021 data by University World News, universities and polytechnics admit close to 2 million undergraduates and produce about 600,000 graduates yearly. With the increase in producing graduates comes unemployment. With me is a graduate of one of the prestigious universities in Nigeria. She will be telling us her personal experiences and will highlight issues in Nigerian educational system.
First, I will say that the university really concentrated more on the knowledge and less on the skills for the labor market. And that would be some soft skills. I think the GS courses universities take on now should be, adapted, or it should be reviewed, to adapt some forms of soft skills and some hard skills as well. And it was a very difficult thing for me because I just thought, oh, when I'm out of school, they'll call me to interpret and I'll just sit down and be speaking the language, But outside the world, you'd have to learn people management, you'd have to learn emotional intelligence, you'd have to learn diplomacy, and you also have to learn how to even have an interview in the first place, But I wasn't equipped.
No one told you about this part. Yes.
So what I did, or how I navigated that, was I came out of school, I did several interviews, and I noticed what some of these people were looking for too. So I had to start taking online courses
for
them, exactly. Which I think, if the school equipped me for this, why do some paid online courses? Exactly.
Yes.
So and then they'll always say experience is the best teacher. So I had to do some trial and error. I failed sometimes, I got it sometimes. So I think those experiences also shaped me, but not the university as much. You see that graduates that are being churned out in universities, there's a mismatch and a gap between what the labor market demands and what graduate skills are. So I think we need to adapt more practical, approaches to learning, and other agile methods or digitalized forms of learning as well, just to be able to bridge that gap between skills.
During the time you were in a university, what was the lecture like?
Okay, my experience in school then was our lecture halls were really tight. You'd be having an infrastructure that is probably a 1,000 capacity building, would be harboring over 6,000 students, and you know what that means. Some people are even sitting on the stage or the auditorium, to take notes, and then the public address system is not. So sometimes you just have to record. What I actually did then was, we will record the course, the lecturer speaking, and maybe even give the phone to someone who is in front or sitting close to the lecturer in the auditorium.
Which is not something that's supposed to be, because I wouldn't know why that this is a 2,000 capacity building, but you go ahead and
we're in Nigeria.
You wouldn't want to go into that.
Exactly.
When it comes to the lecturers, the facilities, facilities, when I'm talking about facilities, I'm talking about, okay, let's say students that are in medicals, mass communication students. Of course, you know they need certain type of equipment to be able to learn their profession, learn what the course is all about. Do you think these facilities are made available in schools?
Yes, obviously. I think these facilities are needed in the schools. Secondly, regarding the manpower, that's the lecturers, and I think most lecturers are equipped knowledge-wise. I would say that they know what to teach, they know their honors, and they are very knowledgeable in their fields. However, I think that there needs to be a subsequent and seasonal or quarterly training of lecturers in fast rising approaches to learning. Really, like there's a difference between knowing what to teach and how to teach it. Exactly. So I think lecturers there needs to be a structure, where lecturers are taking, through several trainings again.
This is how it should be. This is how it should be.
Exactly.
And we have a lot to work on.
Okay. All right, so that's what you can take from that interview. Titi.
Yes.
Did you see overcrowded classroom? I don't know if you ever attended that. Well, luckily I didn't attend some overcrowded classrooms. Well, I really wonder if sometimes the speaker, I think they use speaker, some lecturers don't even get speaker. So maybe just half of the hall will actually hear what they're saying. So I think that is a major problem what we're having when the kind of students who churn out.
Well, I've experienced that too before. And like you said, lecturers don't have a microphone. So you have to run early to make sure you're sitting in maybe the first 5 rows or 6, or else you may end up at the back where nobody hears anything. And then you see noise makers also there. So you're not doing a thing. And most times you see students don't even take notes because they don't want to put the notebook. Really. Everywhere is full. The theater is full. So anywhere, if you're standing anywhere outside where the tables or all that rows are, how do you want to write? Except you're a very serious student. But if you're a very serious student, they're giving you the rights to just begin to say, people are too much there, so just take off. Because some students are also like that. They can always rest on those inadequacies to say they want to go hang out somewhere else. But like I said, this time around, students, you have to be really disciplined because this situation will always be there. That's what I think. Yeah, so despite all we're even talking about, there will still be some guy that probably stood throughout his years in school and still made the first class. Because I've made up his mind that regardless of the situation, I will make sure I will strain my ears to hear this man. I must have
the lady said she will take her phone and give it to her friend in front. When I get back home. So some people have found a way around it. You can be part of this conversation and tell us, do you think... what do you think about Nigerian education system? Do you think it's like the famous garbage in, garbage out? Do you think the graduates from Nigerian institutions are just unemployable, or they just can't find employment? And reach us on our phone line 081-177-82020. The number is showing on the screen. Text messages and WhatsApp only. Just before we went to that break, tell us about yourself. That is one question that throws an interviewee off balance. And the way you stare at the person when you say that, sometimes it just... Nigeria, what to say about myself.
Now, one thing let me tell you about myself. My name is Titi, you definitely introduced me. I'm a business development consultant. I also consult in development space. I care a lot about building capacity of people. So most of the places I found myself either working or consulting has been really centered around capacity building. I'm very versatile with anything capacity building. If you tell me to sit down and design a program for a group of people, it just comes to me very easily, and I design really fantastic programs. So, and I've done this for many years. Of course, I'm a mother.
Okay, so when I start telling you that I'm a second child for a family of 12, I usually like to travel, I like to play football. Is that telling about myself, or telling about myself has to be in relation to the job I'm applying?
So when you come for an interview, you should ask yourself a question. What do you want the panelists to know about me? What matters for this interview? You're coming for a job, and the job says perhaps you'll be the admin, maybe it's an administrative post, like an admin officer, for example. And of course your job description, you saw it before you got there. So when you say tell us about yourself, it's very important to say things that would make, we can resonate with, especially with the job. Soft skills that you have. So soft skills could be you're good with organizing things. Yeah, that would be a great thing to say.
Nice.
Because I need someone that can organize. So there was an intern I got on one of my projects some time ago, and I saw her CV. The CV didn't say much about her, honestly. But because I had the time to talk to her, I told her to come over to my office to have this conversation. And while we're talking, she told me she enjoyed organizing things. She was very good with administrative stuff. I said, well, that's exactly what I was looking for. But it's not in your CV. So we had to renovate the CV. But the interview I had with her made me know her a bit better. And from those things she told me, I was able to ask more questions. So yes, I see in your CV you've worked in social government school. So what was your role there in terms of the administration you're talking about? She was able to say, yes, while I was here, I was the one that coordinated this. So, okay. And it just sat well, because I had like 3 CVs on my table, and she was the one I picked. Her CV wasn't even the best out of the 3, but being able to interview her got me knowing a lot more about that. Yeah, there may be times where an interviewer would ask you about, but they probably wouldn't ask how many children in your family, honestly. So,
they may not ask. You have to ask a blanket question. Tell us about yourself. I'm not wondering, okay, what should I say?
But your hobbies are also very good. You can talk about your hobbies.
Okay.
So, some will say their hobby is traveling. It might just sit well in some kind of interviews.
Yes.
Because your job will require you to move around a lot.
Okay. All right. So we'll get back to talk a little more. I can see some messages coming in. But please, like I say, don't call. Just send in messages. Now, I was on Twitter and I saw this post by Larry Lasisi. It's a video of an interview with late Professor Sophie Oluwole, a renowned professor of African philosophy, with something that she had on Tunde Kelani TV. So Larry Lasisi posted it on her status, and it got so much reaction. I thought to play it and let's talk about it a little.
The universities are for learning theories, no practical. So when you go to the university and you have a certificate, you are holding. The question is, what does it qualify you to do? So if I want to employ you, I want you to do something for me. What can you do? I have a friend, we were in the US together. He did the MSc Political Science. He wanted to wait and do PhD, so he went to the factory to work. They said he can come tomorrow. He came the next day. They gave him envelopes to fold. After one day, he went back. He said, I cannot do that job. They said, why? He said, I have MSc Political Science. What does it qualify you to do? Your children have to do with certificates. What can they do? They cannot service their car. They have certificates because they can memorize Plato and Karl Marx. Who needs Karl Marx? I can employ you to sell my books. Karl Marx is not going to tell me how to do it. Now, education is supposed to function. Knowledge and wisdom to sell, knowledge, nothing. So literacy is what you are going to do in the university. Education that is not relevant to giving you the capacity to manage affairs of your life and the environment. The organizer is better. The tailor is better. The biscuit maker is better. He has no certificate. What can you do?
What she said is very pregnant. Like, she just boom, just throw it out there. Your certificates, can you use it to change your tires? Can you use it to fix your car? Or, like, seriously, see some people even look for someone to change the bulb. I mean, when many people blasted that, people reacted in different ways, but what some others felt like, I mean, that is the blanket truth. I mean, whether you like it or not, what's your take?
There's so many dimensions to this. First of all, I told you I did electrical engineering, and it's not that the knowledge is lost. See, if I have an electrician that comes to my house and fixes something anyhow, I know that is wrong what he did, honestly.
Well, that's
sometimes because I studied it. Do you understand? I may not be the one practicing it, but I know. Now, for those other guys, they just, perhaps that's how the boss, where I learned it from, handed it over to him. Many people just copy what their boss had told them. The science behind it, they may not know. But the guy in the university knows the science behind what. In fact, I've seen this so many times. People come to the house, the way they even lay, it could be a plumber. he doesn't understand the law of gravity because he was never taught law of gravity. He just knows he has to put a pipe. Then he puts the pipe, and then the water doesn't flow out like it should. The water is staying somewhere and it's clogging up, because he should understand that water will come down and then it needs to go in a way that it continues to flow. So that's the difference. I keep saying there's a gap really in our universities. Yes, we learn. There's a lot of knowledge passed across, but the practice of it is important, which is why I see the difference here. Someone learns the practice, goes to learn an apprenticeship thing, learns, the other say, with this one put a pipe, he knows it, that's what he needs to do.
Yeah, but sometimes they are very good.
Yeah, some are good because they have also developed themselves, and some have been experienced over the years to know what is wrong and what is right. Do you understand? But there must be a bridge somewhere. That's what I'm saying. Because you still see those that say they went to learn, or they learned from one guy somewhere, and they're still doing the wrongest things, because sometimes they don't also understand the scientific angle of what they're doing. Now, in our universities, I would say this. I schooled in 2 universities now. I was at Cornell University in America in 2014. I was a Fulbright. And then I did my undergrad in University of Ibadan. Anyway, I could compare the two. Now, I went to Alfred State University for a visit, and Alfred State University is purely like a technical college, kind of. My dear, all these circuits I've not seen in my life, 5 years in US. If you see how their labs are structured, God Almighty, I asked myself, if I study electrical engineering in this particular university, I won't be confused at all. From the beginning of my year there to the end, I will understand what electrical engineering was all about. Part of the reasons why I didn't want to practice really was that because everything was a bit abstract to me. That's the truth. It was a bit abstract, honestly, and I wanted to do something I really had interest in. So I just went straight to my ICT that I loved. That's why I left it behind. I could see the practice. So most of the courses I did, I was to take some courses at the university at the time, although I was a visiting scholar. But then, imagine I took a course in cooperative development, because my program there was international agriculture and rural development. So I did something on cooperatives. We were just 8 of us in a mini class. If you see the conversations we have in those classes, and they registered us for conferences that were outside New York, and it was fully paid by the university. We met farmers, we met farmer cooperatives. Oh my God, the knowledge was amazing.
I don't know. I get what you're saying, because I've done some courses out of the country, and I really see that it's just like 2 ends. You know, when a prof was talking, lady prof was talking, she mentioned the something I really like. He said Karl Marx and Pluto. It's not actually going to help you achieve. So
she's right.
Yes, she's right to an extent. You know, some of the things she talked about, she's actually right. You know, sometimes that's why some people will just feel like, look, this whole university education thing is overrated. Let me finish my basic school and just go learn a skill. That's how we get that apprenticeship thing.
Yeah.
Apprenticeship thing.
Yes.
Okay, yes.
There's something in my mind.
There's something in
Karl Marx and Pluto.
Okay.
So what was in my mind there was the way we also teach in the university. You know, we don't have students that query, that, you know, the questioning that we have. We don't really query things. Some professors don't even answer you. So even the learning, the teaching itself, we need to look at the teaching methods. I think that teaching method is where the issue really lies. I teach, not that I teach in university. I'm a trainer, so I train. There are times someone tell me, come and present a paper. I don't present papers. I go real practical. I don't, so that you take away something I can use when you leave my class. But if I come there and I'm just reading, then what good does it, will that do to my students, really? So we need to also look at the teaching method. We need to look at those that are teaching actually. This person, how much of this industry does he have knowledge about? Some of our professors are also practitioners. Yeah, so all they're teaching is theories.
Tell me about
it. Which is a big issue too.
Tell me about
so if you have a practitioner teaching you, you will see the difference.
I wouldn't mention in school. I went to take a course, and the lecturer who's supposed to be taking us on television broadcast was just teaching us something, and I was wondering, like, I'm a practitioner, I know this. Anyhow, very quickly, I have some of your messages here. I will take your messages. I would like to call on our next feature, which is taking a look at the dwindling number of technical institutions in the country. Let's have a look at it, and we'll be right back.
Since the year 2000, the number of polytechnic institutions in Nigeria has risen from 57 to about 136 as at 2022. Of this number, 33 are federal-owned, 48 state-owned, while 55 are privately run. This amounts to at least one polytechnic in each state. The question is, are these institutions still living up to their mandate, like the promotion of technical and vocational training, technology transfer, and skills development to enhance the socio-economic advancement of the country? From findings, some polytechnics still follow these guiding principles, while others have since adjusted their curriculum to accommodate courses which are not technical in nature. Courses like economics, psychology, and sociology, to list a few, are examples of what technical institutions now teach. The mandate for universities and polytechnics are different. While university education is primarily to produce thinkers and policy formulators to solve societal problems, polytechnic education is to provide technical support to the implementation of those policies. For a long time, graduates from technical institutions have claimed to be on a disadvantaged post-study compared to their university counterparts. For instance, university graduates are the preferred choice in recruitment, and in cases where they are engaged, they are employed at a grade level lower than their contemporaries from the universities. Because of these and some other concerns, some state governments have converted these technical institutions into universities, thereby depriving youths in their area or state access to quality technical education. In places where polytechnics still hold sway, there is so much to be desired. Many lack the necessary equipment to teach and conduct practicals for their students. This also results in graduates who have theoretical knowledge but not practical experience. The curriculum of most government-owned polytechnics may not have been updated to reflect global development. As such, turning out graduates who cannot stand the test of modern trends. Funding also seems to be a challenge in federal and state-owned polytechnics, making the ability of lecturers to teach their students properly greatly hampered. Currently, it seems that for a young person to get proper technical know-how, he or she may have to go to an ITF partner institution which trains individuals on technical and entrepreneurial skills. Or they may also have to be an apprentice to a technical practitioner who also gained his knowledge from another oga to whom he was apprenticed to. This is a common practice in most parts of the country.
The dwindling fortunes of Nigerian polytechnics. I see you shake your head and you just go like throughout the future.
It's unfortunate that this is happening to our polytechnics, honestly, because I believe that I think we're a bit confused as a country, honestly, about the structuring of our educational system. Every layer, every level has what it's expected to do. University and polytechnics, their outlooks are different, honestly. But I see that because of this whole polytechnic certificates are not really honored, polytechnics are now saying, let's step up to become universities, if that will be the case. Yeah. But it's a really wrong move. It's a wrong move, really. Because the polytechnics or technical colleges are to teach technical skills.
Yes. So
technical skills.
When you go to some of these institutions now, you don't see that they teach subjects like sociology, economics, psychology.
And you're wondering,
okay, I thought it was supposed to be a technical institution.
That's it. And everything has its place. I love what the interview says in terms of, for the ones in the university, thinkers, policy formulators, and he's talking about those in the technical aspect, being those that will even able those things to happen. Yeah. So there should be that synergy, really. And that has been missing for so long. And really, I wouldn't blame polytechnics that want to look like universities. Honestly, I wouldn't, because the real world out there is not helping matters. Because at the end of the day, everybody is going to the real world. So if the real world begins to discriminate against certificates, then, we have to take some steps back and see what can we do so that these guys don't become like a victim. Yeah, but just their choices.
Yeah, but it's just watering down what these technical colleges should do.
So we need to revamp a whole lot of things right now, and also make each institution glamorous. It's important, because if our polytechnics become glamorous, people will find a need to be there. But when even you can't tell your friends you're going to a polytechnic, you're feeling bad, then there's a problem here, isn't it? And this morning, you gave me this topic, I put it on my Facebook page, and I said, we really don't hear stories about success stories from our technical colleges. It's important to also share some of those things, so that we really know that there are people that pass out from these places and they're doing well. They've set up really good businesses. We need to tell the story.
All right, the issue of our technical colleges is there's so much to talk about it. I mean, They seem to have lost it. Well, maybe I hate to generalize, but yes, many seem to have lost it, and it's really sad indeed. You know what? Let's take a quick break. When we get back, I'll read some of your messages, and then our conversation will continue.
24 hours a day, 7 days a week. You can watch NTA International live on your TV, computer, iPad, tablet and phone. Log on to visiontv.co.uk and click on Entertainment, then NTAI. You can also download the iOS or Android app on your mobile devices to watch NTA International on the go, anywhere in the world. NTA International, your window to the world.
Although social media as a channel of communication is inherently harmless, it becomes harmful and damaging when used without discretion and thoughtfulness. Bad social media users spread rumors and fake news without verification. But good social media users stop, reflect, and verify information before sharing it. Be a good social media user. Stop the spread of fake news. Verify the authenticity of your source and use social media responsibly for a better Nigeria. This message is brought to you by the Nigerian Television Authority, NTA, in collaboration with the National Orientation Agency.
Thank you very much for remaining with us. This is the Medley Show. Now, let me take these messages. This is Toby Adeyeye from Abuja. I'm enjoying your program. I would like to say that the Nigerian university should prepare its graduates for the challenges of the real world. Some of the things I was taught in school does not translate to what is obtainable in the real world. Nigerian graduates should possess the following skill: critical thinking, problem solving, analytical, and public speaking. These are the soft skills we talked about, right? Yeah. All right, he goes on to talk so much, and then it ends by saying Nigerian universities should embed practical courses for its graduates to fit into the challenges of the 21st century, the real world, to be employable. Thank you very much, Toby. All right, let's see, 1, 2 more. Who is this? This person just says, I'm really enjoying your program. All right, thank you very much, but you didn't tell us your name or where you're writing from. Who is this? Ooh, that's a long one also. Dr. Micah E.E. Our educational policy makers must do more to build a sound quality educational curriculum with good modern trends. For the polytechnic system, our government is not serious, because the double standard in politics is rather unfortunate. All right, Dr. Micah is writing from the Department of Accounting, Air Force Institute of Technology in Kaduna. One more, and then we will continue our conversation. Okay, please don't call. I see you trying to call. All right, I'll take this last one very quickly. I'm a student from Justum on lecture delivery institution. Our lecture delivery institution lack good communication devices. Another issue is the lack of lecturers. This affects our educational quality in such that students are having 2 or more lectures in different colleges at a time. All right, I didn't really get that, but it's okay. Thank you very much for writing. I'll take more of your messages. Now, Titi, I want us to look at the informal education.
Right.
Does everyone really have to go to university?
No.
Okay, now this is it. Now, you tell me it's because some need to learn some technical skills. And yes, so the polytechnics are there. The technical colleges are there, so they could go to another tertiary institutions rather than universities.
So for maybe for someone like me that feels, okay, I want to be a lecturer later on, I want to have a PhD, maybe I go to university. But the truth is, as we move on in life, you know, we are at different stages where we begin to see who we are and what we really want to be. And if someone says, oh, I really want to be a fashion designer, what's the essence of studying economics for? Well, economics would help her eventually. But then if you look at the 6334 system of education, it's been structured in such a way that at every stage, at every milestone, you're able to do certain things. So if I'm done with GS3, of course I can speak English, I can write, all that has been sorted out at that point.
GS3 is the end of basic education?
Yes.
Okay.
So assuming I'm done with that and I really want to learn shoemaking, I could actually proceed to a technical college that does shoemaking. Now, before I came for this program, I actually checked technical colleges under the National Board of Technical Education, and I saw 123 technical Yes, colleges in Nigeria. Yeah,
Wow.
in Nigeria, and they are different focuses. Some are shoemaking, some are leather and garment. They're all there. They're actually all there. So imagine I really want to be someone that wants to really get skills in leather, that leather industry. I can actually go to a technical college that is focused on leather. I was in a place one day and I met a young guy. The guy, we got talking actually, and he's into shoemaking. And he even told me that he wouldn't mind teaching young people shoemaking. So from further inquiry, he said he finished from a technical college in Kaduna actually. So there's a technical college in Kaduna that teaches them on leather, shoemaking and all that. And he told me that really for that technical college, they have good equipment. He spoke very highly about it. And they also sent some of their students one time, maybe to a university or something. There was an institution some of their students went to do maybe a month or so, as in they were teaching the students there. And I said, wow, that was the first time I knew there was even a college like that in Kaduna. And I have a senior colleague of mine. They did some work in terms of revamping some technical colleges some years ago. So I spoke to him. He said, yeah, Titi, yes, there are equipment in these places. So it's not just by mouth, these technical colleges. The equipments to make shoes are there. The equipments to make garments are there. But nobody's going. What are the people going to do?
It's okay. Now, I was discussing this with a friend, and he said, Ceci, wait, look at you for if when you want to get married, that you now bring someone who maybe finished basic education and now went to learn shoemaking. And I said, Dad, this is the person I want to marry. And I said, hey, so which university did you go to?
That's the next.
That's the next question to ask you. And I said, I learned. Then they now say, Cecil, after all your years in university, he was telling me that says even your friends will tell you after all your years in university, he's shoemaker.
But trust me, if he's a successful shoemaker, and that's a big fraction, nobody will ask him this.
Nobody will ask that question.
That's it. So you see, it's also a measure of success that people look at in the real sense of it. So I have two friends that their parents didn't go to a regular school. In fact, we have some greats in Nigeria. I won't mention their names, but they didn't really go to a conventional university, and they own universities today. So what are we talking about? My friend's dad he was homeschooled at some point at the end of the day. But my dear, he's one of the richest agricultural farmers. He's on boards of banks everywhere. It's the success that is opening doors for him. Now ask me, he didn't just sit down too anyway. Yes, he had to get education to a certain extent. What these other people that own the Mycom Golf, you could check their stories because I have their biography. He was homeschooled. So there's some people that didn't even go to all these typical brick and mortar institutions, really. And begins to even learn that. When I was in the US, a lot of kids are homeschooled. They didn't go to actual colleges, they get teachers for themselves at home. So sometimes we can't, if we limit learning to a physical building, we would have missed the whole point. So there's that personal part. There's a personal push for success. There's a personal part of envisioning where you want to be and becoming it.
Okay, another thing I would like us to now delve into. Okay, whether you got to finish higher tertiary institution or you did basic education and did some kind of skill. Sometimes being an entrepreneur and you want to be an entrepreneur, it can be really challenging. I see you run a program where you try to groom young entrepreneurs.
Idea Factory.
Yes, the idea factory where I try to groom young entrepreneurs. And many of the challenges these people talk about is access to many of these fund grants and everything. How can they access this? Many even feel like I will never get this Jare, I want about thing and all that stuff. So but let's talk about it when we get back from this break. We have a feature we put together where we interviewed a young lady who actually struggled to get one of these things and gave up and was like, all right, I'll do it on my own. Got money from family and friends and started her thing. All right, let's look at it and then we'll get back to talk about being an entrepreneur.
While the government and non-governmental organizations have a number of entrepreneurial initiatives for young people, accessing and utilizing these opportunities have not been fully employed. While many look at these schemes as hard-to-acquire initiatives, some have either resorted to applying for 9-to-5 jobs, while others are ready to give the enterprising world a shot on their own. Emanuela Heman, an English language graduate from Gombe State University, is part of the growing number of young people turning to entrepreneurship as a way out of joblessness.
There was one time they were giving loans like that. I had some people, Ella, apply for this loan, you're going to get loans and all of that. I'm like, okay, no problem. And I applied. but I didn't get it, and there was no response. So most people that applied, they said they got. Some of them said that you have to pay some certain amount of money before they give you, and all those stories. But I don't know. Allegedly, I don't know how true that is. So I applied. I think I applied like 3 times during this after lockdown, after COVID, but I wasn't given.
Small and medium-scale businesses play important roles in developing economies. These ventures have proved to be one of the most vibrant sectors for economic growth. Emanuela began her search for grants after her NYSC. When her hunt for grants failed, she created a small business for herself with which she empowers others.
If only government would support entrepreneurs more, then we'll see more entrepreneurs. Just imagine if I say, come, I'll borrow you money to start up a business. Of course you want that, and then you pay with lesser interest. I know a lot of people that talk about their businesses, and in my mind I'm like, if these people only had loans or grants, they can actually do their business and they can actually grow. But we don't get these things from government. And then even when you do, you don't hear about them. It's as if they have selected people they give that to.
After being able to carve out a niche and trademark for herself, young entrepreneurs like Emanuela are optimistic that with determination, hard work and skill upgrade, aspiring entrepreneurs will make their mark with or without government support.
All right. Thank you for remaining with us. Titi.
Yes.
You may want to share with us the Idea Factory, how it works, because many people are really not really complaining that this thing is a whole cabal thing, or these grants are hard to reach, or federal government, they keep telling you that there are so many, SMED and this and that, so but it's very hard to reach. So how can you?
So let me first say there's so much noise. There's so much noise about, oh, there's funds here, there are funds there. Truly. But it boils down also to the fact that who is qualified to get those funds. I keep saying that money wouldn't go into your hands because you want it. There are things that we need to see. I need to see your structure. I need to see your business plan. I need to see your understanding. I need to see the future. In fact, most people would rather give grants to businesses that can scale up. They're seeing potential. It might not even be now, but they're looking at the potential of that business to grow in the next 3-4 years. Nobody likes to throw money around for the sake of throwing money around. I've personally even given 1 or 2 people funds before. And then next time I'm asking you, what did you do with the money? My dear, the guy just disappeared with the money and came back begging for more. Now, I now relate myself to institutions that give money. Now, they also have to record successes from the grants they're given. There's no free lunch. Do you know that grants is not free after all?
Okay.
They're not free after all. It's some of the grants we're talking about, taxpayers' money from some other countries. And that's why we need to be sure that this business merits it. So in the Idea Factory, what we've tried to do is to help you at that ideation stage to critique, or it's like a clinical test on your business idea.
Okay.
So you come in, so we've done how many episodes now? Now you come in and say, okay, this is the idea I have in mind. Some have even launched, but they're the very, that phase.
Yeah.
And we have experts in the room that can look at your business idea. You make a presentation, yes. We look at some areas, we ask questions on some gray areas. Perhaps we see that there's some gray areas you have not covered, really. And we can ask questions like, okay, so you said this is your projection in terms of income generation. Who are your customers? Because you didn't talk about your customers. And then the guy says, oh, these are my customers. And we're like, no, those are not your customers. If you're panning to these guys, then you're panning to the wrong people. And that has come up a lot of times. Oh my God, we do all of that. And then sometimes we ask you, yeah, you have this idea of doing this. What's the rationale? Really? Because we're sitting here.
What's the rationale?
We can't even see business in what you have talked about.
Okay, like I have a friend who does, who packages pap.
Right.
Yes, and now hers is different because she had the ginger one, she put some healthy thing and everything, so she got it sealed and everything, but she needs grants to expand it. He says she has friends who knows friends, she's doing that small scale, then she's gone online, but even though I told her that online is not really as aggressive as I think, so but she sees the big picture with this business. So when she comes to Idea Factory, for instance, what are the kind of questions you would ask?
Oh yeah, so first she has to make a presentation. And usually there is a guide to that. So why am I, okay, what's the business? Let's know about it. What's your unique selling point? Your core value proposition is key for us because we are your buyers as well. You know, we sitting here, we should be your customers. So we're looking at it from that perspective as well. What's your unique selling proposition? Why should I buy from you? So please pitch and let me hear you. Why should I buy from you? Then from there, if it makes sense to a certain extent, I will see that there are other things you have not even thought about. We're going to bring it up.
Okay.
So issues of the marketing will come in. Issues of income generation will come in. Issues of even innovation, where we see that really, do you know, if you could do it this way, this could actually even be a better idea, could give you more traction. So we're also adding value to what you have brought into the idea factory. We're not just limiting it to what you have presented, even though we are there to also critique. And of course, it's not critique to make you discouraged. It's critique to say, have you covered this?
They're coming back to us. We'll continue. Okay.
So if it's like, if the critique is, have you, well, this seems to be missing in your ideation process. This seems to be missing in your thought right now. Have you thought about this? Have you considered this? And in some cases, you say you want to do a certain thing. We ask you, so what's the end game of this one? Because right now, what we're seeing is different from what you're seeing. So we get to discuss all of that. And you know, at the end of the day, you could actually you can actually just get something more superior.
All right, so we'll get something superior.
You can even get something more superior from what you brought into the idea factory that can now help you to package it properly for a funder. Because already, you know, we've already critiqued you, we've already analyzed, we've already reviewed for you. So you can get a better packaging of that business idea really to a funder. Because as you have come to Idea Factory, we have not even seen any reason why we can even fund you, first of all. Now we've been able to take you through all that conversation. And you've seen what you need to put in that, that whole thing, what you need to consider. And then you're better off when you want to pitch that idea now to a funder. Because the funder will look at everything we've asked you here. So for me, it's like a starting point, really, for anyone that has an idea. And usually, when you are someone with an idea, to you it's the best idea until somebody else looks at
someone
it.
else, yes.
So that's what we're trying to help you with. And imagine you're having like 3-4 experts, seasoned business people that they've seen it all. So they're trying to say, watch out for this, watch out for this. If you even say this amount I need for, it's okay, let's see the breakdown. Why do you say you need this? Someone gave a testimonial some time ago and said, members of the panel said, I was not even thinking big enough. Like, imagine, I thought I had it all covered, and they're saying my thinking is not even big enough because the potential is massive. I'm not seeing it.
Oh, you are not even seeing the big picture.
So they got to write it like, well, I was like, okay. So this thing is really this cool. I never even saw it this way, And I loved that kind of testimonial anyway.
All right, Titi, let's take a quick few messages and then we'll be running up gradually. All right, Isaac is writing from Akura. He says that interesting discussion. Thank you very much, Isaac. Who is this? I'm really enjoying your I'm really enjoying your program. My question is, can someone learn to go to technical institution after university? Yes, after university.
Yes, you can. If you want to. If it's specific on a skill and you want to go there, because they're specific on the skills that they teach. Yeah.
All right. This person says, my name is Ade. I really don't feel like going back to school anymore. Okay. Yeah, this was what we talked about at the beginning. I really don't feel like going back to school anymore. I think I will just go and learn a skill. I can't advise you, but
learning skills doesn't end at just learning skills. There's also a discipline that translates the skill into business. So someone like that, learn a skill, but learn how to run business too.
Learn how to run the business
with the skill translated.
We're still talking skill. We didn't really touch so much on the apprenticeship thing. Yes, so I grew up in Lagos where I see a lot of the Alaba business owners bring boys from the East, they train them. After a period of time, they graduate here. Yes,
they set them up with some small money.
That's some kind of informal education. I know that. I think they still have it in the southwest. They must have another. There's a way they also practice this.
Because Caris Motors is a product of this.
Because Caris Motors, okay,
is a product of this, and this Igbo apprenticeship scheme or system is taught in Harvard actually.
Yes, someone mentioned
so you know that is a serious. They've studied that model like, wow, this is really cool. You learn for some years, then when you are graduating or you are done, if it's 6 years, if it's how many years, and then there's an amount you are given, go and start your own. So it's also, it works. It actually does work. And I feel that for the universities, within the life of your 5 years in university, now we brought in CWES, the students in something work
the CWES thing,
which is a 6 months in 400 level, at least for engineering students. That has been very helpful. So when I said I picked up ICT as something I really loved, my 6 months was fully spent in an IT company. The things I learned till tomorrow, I can still do them. So that's the fact. And my son, for his long vacation now, I took him to do an internship. Yeah, he did an internship at a digital company in Abuja. And I told him, he's been playing football all his life. I'm like, do something different. Because he's good with designs. I said, okay, I have a friend that has a massive digital company in Abuja. So I told my friend, I said, my son, I want him to do like 5 weeks. And he did his 5 weeks there. He learned new things. He even got some new software.
All right, I will be going now. Yeah. Good afternoon, presenter and resource person in the studio. Graduates in Nigerian University, especially most public, are quarter-baked, hence makes them unemployable and not useful in the labor market. This is Tari from Port Harcourt. Wow, Tari, that was a little harsh, but that's your opinion. Sincerely speaking, we need more practical aspects in our university. We are a bit all right. Thank you very much. Good job, good presentation. This is Ray Duke. All right, I'll take the last one now. In my area, foodstuff around this area is available everywhere. Okay, you're writing something else. Anyhow, Titi Ojo, thank you very much for coming around.
Thank you.
It was nice having this conversation with you. We would like to bring you some other time to talk to us in other areas and more about your idea factory.
Oh, I would love to come and talk about that. Thank you
all
very
right,
much.
time from me. Thank you very much for you all who stayed with us to the top till this hour of the program. Thank you very much. If you just joined us midway, thank you too. My name is Cecil Egbele saying bye-bye. Let's do this again next week.